The project I am introducing is called the Market Data Processing System. Applying the skills I learned in the E90 course, I developed the system to automate the collection, processing, and visualization of financial data, eliminating the need for repetitive manual tasks. The first issue I needed to solve was crawling data. After searching on Google, I found a solution, using Selenium and Chrome to crawl data from websites. So, I spent a few days completing the module for crawling data from websites in Python. Let me illustrate this module. Next, I plan to integrate this module into AWS Glue. However, I found that Glue doesn't support web crawling, only sources like databases, CSV, or JSON files. So, I turned to Lambda or EC2. Lambda was my first choice, and I spent a lot of time trying to run my Python script on it. However, I eventually realized that using Lambda for this project isn't practical. The main reason is that it requires a runtime environment with Chrome and Chrome Driver, which means using Lambda with container images. Since each image is around 500 megabytes, the system would end up consuming an excessive amount of storage. As a consequence, I decided to run the Python script on EC2. After setting up the environment for Chrome and Chrome Driver and installing the Selenium packages, I was able to run the Python script on EC2 just as I did on my local machine. In order to schedule and manage my scripts, I chose to use Apache Airflow, which is an open-source platform used to programmatically schedule and monitor workflows in the form of directed acyclic graphs, DAGs. My next step is to install Apache Airflow. Airflow is a distributed system comprising the WebWerver, database, scheduler, and workers, and these components are typically deployed on separate EC2 instances. However, due to the small scale of this project, I used only 2 EC2 instances. On instance A, I installed the web server and MySQL, while on instance B, I installed the scheduler and workers. Additionally, instead of using AWS EC2, I experimented with similar services provided by Alibaba Cloud and Tencent Cloud. Let me show you how to start the Airflow cluster in this project. On the main Airflow UI page, there is a list of DAGs. Each DAG represents a workflow, consisting of tasks organized in a defined sequence with dependencies for scheduling and execution. In my project, I designed a DAG by writing a script, which can be viewed by clicking the code button. Airflow processes this script and renders it as a graph, which is displayed on the graph page. The first task in the workflow is retrieving data from the SSE website and saving it into MySQL, and the next 2 tasks are similar to the first one, except that they retrieve data from different websites. The last task triggers an AWS Glue ETL job to collect data from MySQL and save it into the Glue data catalog. The green-colored block indicates that the task was successfully executed. If the block is red, it means something went wrong, and we need to check the logs to identify the issue. Afterward, I worked on building a Glue ETL job to extract data from MySQL and store its schema in the Glue data catalog for visualization. This took me quite a bit of time because there's a trick to it. You need to create a new VPC with both private and public subnets to enable a connection between the public MySQL server and the private AWS Glue service. Let me show you the VPC. After everything is ready, we can test the DAG and the Airflow UI. Let's give it a try and see how it works. Since the DAG finished successfully, we can check the Glue data catalog using Athena. Now, everything is fine except that the charge for AWS Glue is too expensive. I am considering temporarily removing AWS Glue from my system and reintroducing it if the pipeline becomes more complex, as AWS Glue reduces the overhead of manually managing the Airflow cluster and lowers the cost of running additional instances. Finally, I was able to use QuickSight to visualize the structured data in a dashboard, and this is how it looks. That's all about my project. Thanks for watching.